Hey, Pete.
Hey, good morning, Dan.
Good morning.
To your guest, I've heard you analyze the court case dealing with the state exchanges that's critical right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I've not heard anyone say what track the plaintiffs are taking to attack it. Is it on a business model, unfair competitive advantage, or is it just an undue governmental infringement on rights? What's the track?
It's actually way more simple than that. It's actually the law itself. So the law itself very clearly states that the subsidies can only be provided through state exchanges established by states. There's 4 little words in there. Exchanges established by states. It doesn't say that any exchange, the federal exchange, for instance, can do that. And so it's based on the law itself, and a lot of history shows how they initially thought about doing it through all of them, but then they decided not to. And part of the reason was they wanted every state to establish an exchange so that the federal government wouldn't have to do this and wouldn't have to pay for it, and the cost of Obamacare would not be increased. And so, and it would create a sort of a deception that this wasn't the federal government program if every state had an exchange. And so they took that out to try and force the states to essentially to bribe them into having a state-established exchange, because that's the only way all the people in their state would be able to have access to these federal subsidies to help them pay for the higher Obamacare price premiums. So it's all about the words in the law itself, and that is the basis of it. The other thing about that is that the plaintiffs are saying they're being harmed. And the reason they're being harmed is because if there are no subsidies available in your state, there is also no mandate that you purchase and no penalties for not purchasing, because all of that is hinged on the subsidies. So in the states that are where the federal exchange is operating, in states that don't have state exchanges, all of these companies and all of these individuals have become subject to the mandates and the penalties. And they shouldn't be, because there shouldn't be any subsidies in their states, and therefore they would not be harmed by the mandates and the penalties, because they wouldn't be in effect in those 36 states.